Everybody, hi. Once again, Bruce Muffson, LCSW, Sunridge from Nevada, coming out with another live stream, Trauma Part 2. We're going to talk about it tonight. Before we begin, though, do a couple of things ahead of time just to kind of clarify and explain things a little bit more and talk a little bit more about myself. We've also noticed we're getting a lot of new faces coming onto these live streams, so I want to introduce myself in a sense a little bit differently each time so you get to know me a little bit better, and there's a comfort level when you talk to me. So here we go. My name is still Bruce Muffson, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been licensed for over 20 years. And I've worked with thousands of patients from 3 to 83. I've worked inpatient, outpatient. I've worked in emergency rooms. I've worked with adolescents, adolescent sex offenders, as well as those suffering from what they call neurocognitive disorders, things such as schizophrenia, drug-induced psychosis, bipolar, and dementia, as well as those suffering from what we call the big three: sexual, physical, and emotional/verbal abuse. Okay, I've done literally thousands of evaluations from everywhere, from going into prisons, from going into people's homes, from going into correctional centers, you name it. I've gone to people's homes, just done those thousands of them. Okay, I'm equally comfortable with either going to make a home visit or seeing someone in any setting that they're in. I've gone to people who are in emergency rooms, gone to people in schools. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm comfortable anywhere going to talk to people. Okay. I've also spoken dozens of times to law enforcement, correctional officers, as well as to the courts, as well as parole and probation, both adolescent and adult, on how to work more efficiently with the mentally ill. I've also supervised dozens of students who are moving forward to be licensed from all walks, different kind of mental health professions. I was their supervisor. I worked with them several years, each one of them, to get them ready to the point that they could be comfortable on their own. And finally, I've also testified hundreds of times in court on helping to clarify a person's mental illness and what should be the outcome with the charges. Okay, now, I'm kind of happy we're doing this topic on trauma because I've always felt that it was an underdiagnosed disorder and that it was always kept under the rug, because it's a topic that was so overlooked until very recently. And I want to explain why. I'm going to use a term, John Wayne. Now, for those that are young, probably under the age of 30, it's kind of like almost a vague term. What does the John Wayne mean? He was an actor that died about, I think, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. He made dozens of movies, a lot of cowboy and westerns, a lot of war movies where he played a tough guy. And the theme was be like John Wayne, be tough, be able to handle yourself, be good with your fists, good with the women, but at the same time, keep your emotions bottled up. And generations of guys bought into that. Women too, but mostly guys, be like John Wayne. Join the Marine Corps, and just because he did a lot of war movies, and just be tough, be tough, be tough. You know what happened? It led to generations of guys getting screwed up, turning to drugs, and it led them turning to drinking and domestic violence and ruining their lives and that of their kids, instead of learning to seek help for their own individual trauma. It was like bottle up, bottle up, bottle up, bottle up. And it's weird to me, even now when I meet guys and I work with guys, again, not discounting the women, it's like I'll have so many people say to me, "You're the first person I ever told this to. You're the first person I ever shared this with." I mean, you kept that bottled up, all this anguish and trauma for all these years. It's crazy to me. And what I want to share is that every person has their own unique voice. And it's time to no longer keep it hidden or think that if you do share, you're not a real man. It's just a lot of crap. You got to get away from that kind of thinking and realize expressing yourself makes you a real man and doesn't make you any better that you hold it in. So you can have a heart attack, a stroke, high blood pressure, cancer, poor sleep, gain weight, and early death. So yeah, hey, there always was a value for not saying anything. All right. Here's my last point I want to make. Quite simply, there is no one better out there than myself in getting people to open up and feel comfortable around me. There is no one. And people are going to feel that they're in a safe place. even in a group setting, if I'm talking to dozens of people, I'll have people come up and say to me afterwards, I felt when you were talking about a specific topic that you were talking to me. That's a gift that I have. And that's why we're doing these live streams and we're moving forward, because I want to give you that kind of TLC and that kind of individual one-on-one approach that I want to give, not just to the people I've seen before, but to all of you out there. Okay, now here we go. I want to talk about trauma. I'm going to go back to where I was before. Here we go. Oh, comments. Here we go. No wasting time this time. All right. Hey, Bruce CS. CS, thank you. You are great. And Josh, yeah, CS, I'm going to get to you in a second. I want to thank you first of all. Josh Byrne, thank you, my man. I missed a lot with this virus going on. Okay, and thank you for your donation. Thank you very much, Josh. We appreciate you tremendously. You've donated before. We thank you. And I got a little emoji in there saying I'm a fan. Number one fan. Yes, you are. We're not going to argue. Although CS might be a little bit upset with you for me saying that. But thank you, Josh. Much appreciation. And you got a lot of mad respect from us. And thank you. And with the virus going on, I hope you do. I think you were telling us you were from New York. You're living in New York now. I know it's been crazy with there. I have family that from there. A lot of friends still live in there. I know the city's been going through a lot. So I hope you're safe. I hope you're in one piece. I hope everything is going well for you and your loved ones. And CS, back to you. I'm not going to say who's number one anymore. I don't want to cause any trouble. But thank you, CS. You're a huge supporter. We really appreciate you. And we want to thank you. Through a couple of ahas. I'm sure we can share first place. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys are the best. Really appreciate you. Josh, always being friendly. Let's share. Thank you, Josh, for sharing the baton. I appreciate that. But you guys are fantastic and both amazing. Thank you very, very much. Okay, I want to go back to part 2 on the trauma, and here we go. The emotional and psychological symptoms are big. And it was shock, denial, or disbelief, confusion, difficulty concentrating. That's a biggie. People kind of like look into that a lot. I've had people say to me things like, I was a truck driver, Bruce, and something happened on the road, and I was in a very bad car accident, a truck accident, and my car veered off. My truck veered off, and I went back to work after 4 months. I had internal injuries, and they'll tell me things like, I black out if I go on that highway again. I can't concentrate. I can't focus. My breath gets shallow. I start doing deep breathing. I get emotionally nervous. And if I'm in that same situation where the cars were on the side of me, in the front of me, I start to panic and I got to slow down. The concentration is not where it used to be. Whenever you hear someone who's successful, they'll throw this out there and they'll say things like, I'm locked in. An athlete will say that when they have a very good game. I was locked in. When they don't have that concept, it's like trying to catch, air, honestly, when you have that concentration. I once heard Tiger Woods say, every shot I was focused on. Every shot I knew where I was going with it. Doesn't have that now. You can see that. That concentration, that ability to stay focused, it affects you when you have trauma. No argument there. Anger, irritability, mood swings, that's a biggie. Anxiety and fear, like I said last week, that was me. I was an anxious guy, fearful of a lot of things that I look back on how stupid I was, but I was insecure. I'd gone through a dysfunctional childhood. Things were never easy in my home. And I looked at a lot of things, a lot of trepidation and nervousness rather than being aggressive. A lot of guilt, shame, self-blame. Yeah, you blame yourself. I should have done things better. I should have done things differently. Why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I do this the right way? I failed. I suck. It's my fault. Hear that a lot. Particularly if you're in combat, a lot of grief there. If you're in law enforcement, corrections, any job that involves an element of danger, and if you didn't do something right and something happened to somebody, they get hurt, wounded, or even, God forbid, killed, you'll hear a lot of that stuff like the guilt, the shame, and the self-blame. I failed. You know what? I'll share this one. I had somebody that committed suicide, and I was fairly close to that person. And I blamed myself for not seeing the signs, even though, of course, it's ridiculous. How could I have known? but I was very close to this person, and unfortunately they committed the act and were unfortunately successful at it. And I felt I had failed. Bruce Muffson, therapist to the stars, and I couldn't recognize the signs. I felt like a loser. I felt the guilt, I felt the shame, and I felt the self-blame. Okay, withdrawing from others. That's a biggie. I don't think people really kind of understand that. And I noticed that with the people that we do with the video breakdowns a lot of times. I noticed with the videos, I mean, it screams out to me, and I talk about this with my producer. When I see the video, it's like, do you notice that he's by himself all the time? There's not one interaction that doesn't involve drugs or alcohol, girls with no clothes on, waking up completely discombobulated from drugs and alcohol, not knowing where you are, not sleeping, very alone. There's no friendship in the videos. There's no camaraderie. There's no like hanging out with this guy, hanging out with this guy. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to a movie, something, swimming. There's just nothing. Very, very much alone. Feeling sad and hopeless. People say that to me a lot. They'll say things like, Bruce, I feel helpless and hopeless. We get a lot of that when we do assessments in emergency rooms. Helpless and hopeless. I feel nothing seems like it's going to get better. My life sucks. I'm at the end of my rope. I can't go forward. The walls are closing in, literally. And I get a lot of that when I talk to people. Helpless and hopeless. There's no one I can talk to. You know, I feel like I'm oblivious to everything going on around me. And another biggie, disconnected, we're numb. Literally, you got no sensation. You don't feel anything. You could see someone, literally a car accident as you're walking down the street, and you keep on walking. You can walk past a building on fire. It smells like something. I don't know. Keep on walking. You could be in a fight where someone could push you. You just lay there like the guy's pummeling you. You're not feeling anything. That disconnection, that feeling of numbness is really a big, big deal. I just don't connect. I lay in bed. I can't. My girlfriend's calling me. My friends are calling me. My job is calling me. Where are you? Get back to work. Hey, you haven't checked in. What's going on? Disconnected. You're not into anything. Bills are piling up. Stack of bills, phone calls, emails. Sir, you're overdue on your bills for 3 months. You haven't paid your rent. Disconnected. That's what trauma does to you, literally. It's like it literally sucks the life out of you. Okay. Now, some of the physical symptoms you're going to get are going to be insomnia or nightmares. Okay, that's a biggie. Welcome to the club, Bruce. 60 million Americans don't sleep well at night, and I'm one of them. Now, partly it's because I'm overweight, but also because I got so much on my mind. I'm always thinking about the next day, what I got to deal with, about work, about getting stuff done, being prepared, getting this ready, getting that ready. So insomnia or nightmares, yeah, I have those. I have nightmares. Yeah. Last night I went to sleep last night, and I must have had about 10 nightmares in a row, all about different things. And not about my wife driving me crazy. That's a recurring nightmare. But I'm just saying, just different things, different situations that I was like trying to process when I woke up, like, whoa. But I had nightmare after nightmare. It's like they say thunderstorms are rolling in one after the other. I had a series of nightmares last night. I don't have like pleasant dreams. On my brain, I know why. I go to bed like this and I try and shut off my brain. It's processing how the day went, which is often rough. And the brain is trying to help me out by letting me have this imagery. So it's not uncommon to have nightmares and insomnia. I don't have insomnia, thank God, but I do have the nightmares. Okay. Fatigue. You feel like you just ran a half marathon. You feel like you just came walking 5 miles and you're drenched in sweat. You feel like you just did 15 rounds, 12 rounds now, with Floyd Mayweather. You just don't feel any strength in your body. Nothing is there with you. Like it's just like fatigued, exhausted. 6:30 at night. What are you doing? I got to go to bed, man. I can't keep my eyes open. I got to take another nap at work. Let me get a 10-minute snooze fest, like, so I can go face another 3 hours of emails. Like you get that feeling that comes across. Being startled easily, all right? I got that with people that I work with because they've been through trauma. If I should walk behind them and go like, hey, I'm here. And it seems like funny when I say it, but it's not to them. And they're feeling so much because everything on a walk, on going to a 7-Eleven to get a soda, everything has negative consequences. There's nothing positive to work with. We talked about the brain, how it develops from the top up. And I've learned if you don't have a happy childhood and your memories are always negative and terrible and crazy, then that's how you tend to look at the world around you. So any encounter that you have is going to be generally negative based. It's going to start off negative. So a lot of times with trauma, the slightest thing that can go wrong, the slightest thing, people panic. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Like life as we know it's not going to happen. Oh my God, Bruce, I can't believe. And it's because they're dealing with trauma. They can't see a way to get through that. Everything kind of cuts them off and gets them cuckoo. I had to get work through that. It took a lot of work to learn to put things down on paper, to get focused, to stay on top of things, get projects done, and train my thinking. But that's a hard thing to do. Guys, Josh, CS, you want to throw any more questions? You got the floor right now. The floor is empty. Anyone else would like to comment? Go ahead and do it. But Josh and CS, we owe you. Feel free. Okay. Now, another thing, too, you're going to have is, here we go. Is there a way to completely deal with trauma? Okay, this came from CS. Or is it once you've experienced trauma, it's always affecting you in your life? Great question. The answer, let me give a multi-part answer to that. You can't get rid of it. No. It's going to be there. What really this goal of this part 2 and talking about types of therapy is how to deal with it. Give you an example. I once heard of a former professional athlete. He was a catcher, and he caught for like 12 to 15 years. If you threw in the minors and the majors, and then you talk about college and minor league ball, you're probably talking like 20, 25 years of his life. He was squatting behind a plate. He had some fairly serious knee injuries and needed surgery, blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of catchers ended up playing first base. He said after he retired, the pain never went away. But what he had to learn how to do was to deal with the pain on a daily basis. And if you hear guys who play football, anything that does with contact, it punishes your body, particularly in baseball with catching, because there are collisions at home. You're constantly squatting up and down, up and down. And any kind of football position that's contact, you hear guys say the same thing. I learned to live with the pain. So it's the same thing with trauma. It doesn't go away ever completely, but hopefully you learn how to have better control over it from a judo perspective of keeping it from getting inside you and hurting you so that you can go forward with the rest of your life. So I hope that answers that question for you, CS. Okay, another one came in. There's this really great movie. It's a horror film called Possum about a disgraced puppeteer who goes back to live with his uncle who wasn't so good to him. You know what? Do me a favor, Colter Harris. Send me more information about that movie. And I know movies, and I never heard of that one. So that's a new one for me. Send me more information on that one. If it's on Netflix and who's in the movie, I will check it out and we'll do a review on it. Not a problem. I never, and I know movies. I never heard of that one. Okay. Got another one from Hope You're Doing Well, sir. Appreciate the videos. Yes. Adenal, thank you. Adeno, thank you so much. Doing well. Masking up. That's what I'm really kind of focused on. Masking up and staying safe and following precautions. Okay, questions are coming in. Here we go. Came from Colt. He keeps trying to destroy this spider puppet with a human head, and it keeps coming back magically. And it's a perfect metaphor for trauma. It's actually a great movie about how alienating it is. That above is 2 of the second one. Yeah, send me again. If you know who's in the movie, who directed it, is it on Netflix, and where can I see it? I will definitely check it out. I love using media as a way of reaching people. This sounds like a perfect movie for us to talk about in a future live stream. So thank you. Okay. Now, also I want you guys to understand this also. You're going to often have times your heart's going to start pumping. I've seen this happen before. Someone will tell me, this is the street I walked down on, Bruce, where I got sexually assaulted. This was my neighborhood. They grabbed me, took me in an alley, and I was raped horribly for several hours by several different men, where I had a gun to my head, where I was in a gang situation, where they shot at me on my block, and my friend was wounded. And they say, like, if you see that same scene, that same area, like, that heart starts to pump. People are telling me they go back to their old house where they were sexually offended, and they hear the steps creak going up to the second floor. They literally will, like, not even joking, they'll poop their pants. They got to go to the bathroom. That's the trauma, where they almost feel like they have to throw up, because it's that visceral, brings it back so close. So that's normal. Edginess and agitation. Yeah, you're not the same. Little things get you ticked off, and you get so nervous and you get so jumpy because you're edgy. Got to throw down from Josh. This lockdown forces people to reflect with their problems. This is a good thing or a bad thing? Man, Josh, you got some damn good questions. The answer is, it's a good thing. I said this in another live stream, I believe. It was a live stream. Use this time to think about where you want to go from here. These last 3 months, 4 months, and it may go on for quite longer than that. It might go on for a full year, year and a half before a vaccine is finally found. Use this time not to catch up on everything that you missed on Netflix for the last couple of years and binge on TV, or be proud you're walking around without wearing a belt and wearing just your underwear at a meeting and eating tons of Cheetos and buying crap on Amazon you don't really need and just gorging yourself with food and not having good sleep habits, not exercising. Don't do that. I want you to think about, no knock against Amazon, by the way. My wife does shop heavily from them. But my point is, I want you to think about, what are you doing with your life? Where do you go from here? The world as we know it has changed greatly, and it's going to continue to change even more so. What's going to happen with your career? What's going to happen with your relationships? Have you had a chance to mend things with your family? If things suck, have you gotten closer to your parents? Have you gotten closer to your children? Have you gotten closer to yourself? Do you know yourself better? Have you written down your goals? What fields interest you that are going to be in demand for the next 50 years? I can tell you right now, public health is going to be massive. I can tell you right now, mental health is going to be massive. I can tell you right now, law enforcement will be massive. All this will be changing over the next 50 years. Are you going to be part of it? How to put products out there, how to deal with cash or not deal with cash, how to deal with people, how to make things work, how to get large groups in safely. Even after this ends, there's going to be residual effect. And are you going to be part of that change? So yes, it's a good thing or a bad thing. To me, it's a good thing. Take the time to learn. What are your financial situations? Are you going to start saving money if you can go back to work? Do I go back to school for another degree? Where am I at financially? What am I looking at down the road? Be more creative. Don't just think day to day. Too many of the kids that I work with, which I understand why, of course, it's due to poverty and stupidity in their home. And no one ever taught them anything intelligent. But learn now the time to go on the internet and not just look at funny cat videos, but like, where am I going? What do I need? What information do I need to know more about? How do I grow? And that's what I want for everyone watching this video in general. Just, how do I grow from here? How do I go forward? Hope that answers that question. How do I deal with the fear of failure? Another great question. Came from Josh. You know what I've learned, Josh? The more I prepare, I used to be afraid. I'm not going to lie, I used to be afraid of doing new things. I got over that. And now what I've learned, the more I plan for something, the more I prepare if I'm going to do something new, there's less likelihood of me failing. And I've learned to embrace new things. And if I fail, if I screwed up, so be it. At least I gave it a shot. I mean, I'm going to throw this in. I've said this before. With my agent / producer / everything, it's been 5 years now. And never once did I, when he said to me, he was the one that said it to me. It wasn't me. It was him. He said, Bruce, I have an idea. I want to try something new with you. And it was a compliment because he didn't say it to anyone else. He said it to me. He said, I want to try and do this concept of using music as a way to break things down clinically. That was him. Now, the old Bruce, if I was probably in high school, I've been like, I don't know. I'm afraid. I don't know if I can handle it. And I was like, damn, yeah. And I've said this before. I knew the names of a couple of the bigger rappers, like a Kendrick Lamar. I'm not going to lie. I knew who Kanye West was. But did I really know their music? Did I really know who they were? No. Now, I mean, indirectly, I could hold my own probably at a rap convention, knowing about this one versus no. that second album, he was trying out something different. Well, no. He was with that group at that time. That was the group after. No, there was a breakup. Now I know the different trends in music. Now I know the videos. But I didn't worry about it anymore. Now I just I'm going to do it. And now I take on a lot of things that, even though it may seem like, oh my God, do I have the time for it? I'll make the time for it. I'll push. I'm going to push myself. So yeah, the fear of failure. And also here's the thing too, Josh, and I guarantee you're younger than me. Get it done early. Because when you get to be my age, you start to realize the clock is literally ticking. I don't have that much longer left. You're probably way younger than me. Any dreams you have right now, go do it. Because if you fail, you can look back years later and say, well, at least I gave it a shot. At my age, the pyramid's getting narrower. Right now, your base is just exploding with things that you can be doing. So if you can travel, if you can, have a relationship with somebody you weren't sure about, if you can go back to school, get another degree, if you can ask for another assignment at work, if you can just broaden yourself. I want to read these books. I want to have this experience. I want to learn this new skill. I want to try a new language. Now's the time. Expose yourself and immerse yourself, because when you're young, you don't realize how quickly life goes by. So I hope that answered that question. Okay, Jordan Harmon. Just want to stop by and say thank you. I really enjoy your content. Appreciate your perspective. Thank you, Jordan. Much appreciation. Thank you. And thank you for everyone that's commenting. I see a lot of the regulars, and we want to try and do a different kind of time frame. So much appreciation. Thank you again. All right, back to the topic. You're going to have the aches and pains. I get this a lot also. I'm like, man, I got to pop another Advil. I need something to go to sleep. It's interesting at the hospital, we get a lot of people at night that will say, I can't sleep. Like tons of sleep aids. I'm like, why can't you go to sleep? And I realize because they're anxious. That stomach is not at rest. They're always panicking, but can't sleep. So lots of aches and pains. And I'll get the women who will always say, not to me, but they'll say to the nurses, I'm cramping. My menstrual cycle is killing me. I'm terribly cramped. Yeah, the body's not at rest. These are all telltale signs. You can't fake out the body, because in the end, the truth always comes out. Muscle tension, that's another one. Oh man, I'm so stiff. I'm so tight. Right here, baby. A couple of months ago, I was feeling horrible. My back was tight, loose. I felt something here. I went to a chiropractor. I signed up for these these sessions. It's done a world of good. I'm making more of an effort to exercise more, to stretch out more. And the guy said to me on my last visit, man, your back is so much better. Your gait is so much better. Once there's massage schools reopen, not that kind of massage, but just massage to relax, I'm actually going to a school of students and just get some massages just to work on the blood flow, to relax, to get my muscles better, because you get those aches and pains from that muscle tension. Okay, here we go. How do you heal from trauma? That's a question a lot of people are asking even tonight. All right, here's what I want you to know about this. Most of the time, over a period of time, usually from several weeks to several months, your symptoms are going to get better, because you're not going to be in the same trauma. Hopefully, that will be repetitive, and you can move on. You don't walk down that street. The person gets arrested. Your loved one is safe, your injuries heal, and you begin to get back into the stream of things, and you move on. Okay. But if your psychological trauma does not ease up, and that happens, okay, where it becomes even worse, you may be experiencing what's called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Let me just clarify a little bit about the history of PTSD, because that comes up a lot. We didn't understand what it was. It only first got diagnosed in 1865 when there was a civil war, when there was huge amounts of battlefield casualties on a level that was unimaginable even a century earlier. People knew how to kill each other better. It really came into vogue in World War I, though, when you now had much more advances in artillery, in rifles, in machine guns, airplanes, tanks were first introduced, and the ability to slaughter each other was now on an unimaginable scale. Yeah, in the past, you had these battles where 50,000 people got killed, 70,000 people got killed. That did happen, but the combatants tended to be in one small area. The battle ended for after a day or two, and that was it. And civilians were not involved in it. Not anymore today. Now war is a global issue, and the weapons are so destructive that the carnage is so great that people who were combatants or saw these things up close began to affect them. Okay. Got a heart. Thank you, Cope. Much appreciation. Josh threw this in. I think people don't know how to use empathy to connect with others. How do you specifically use empathy to connect with others? Here's what I would tell you. Be real. And how do you be real? Make the effort to see the person physically. A situation at work this week, I was really nervous about something because something had changed and there was an issue with like how I'm going to use my staff, and there was some situations going on with a lot of stuff out there in the community. And I had a couple of meetings, and I said, I was really nervous about this meeting coming up. And someone said to me, why don't you just email the person, email them? I said, you know what? I want to talk to him first. And I called him, and I clarified a couple of points. Everything went away. I truly believe using that was the most effective way of getting my point across. What am I doing to follow it up? I'm going to meet this guy in 2 weeks, introduce myself to him. Face to a name, name to a face. So my first step is this. Meet with the person physically, directly, then do an email. Meet with the person face to face, then do a phone call, then do an email, then do a text. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Face to face, phone call, email, and then a text. Because the more you personalize something, Josh, and so everyone else is listening, the better off you're going to be. And that's what I use. When empathy is designed, you can get much more out of empathy when you're doing things face to face. I like to do that. I know I'm old school that way. Everyone now, of course, is much younger than me. Will use the text, the Instagram. Of course I use it. I text like everyone else, like an idiot. But my point is, I've learned the text is designed to be impersonal. That's why there's so much hatred now on social media, because you don't have to see the person face to face. Could you imagine if instead of having people throwing out all their vitriol and hatred on the air, well, not on the airwaves, on the social media waves, and you actually had to look at the person as you said something horrific or disgusting? I'm not even gonna get into it, but you guys all know where I'm coming from. You'd be embarrassed to say that stuff. It's disgusting. But you say it because they have a thing on Jimmy Kimmel, celebrities read mean tweets, and they say some incredibly nasty things to these people. And you're like, would you really say that if you were standing in front of him or her? Of course not. But because it's impersonal, you're not giving of yourself up. You're not giving any of yourself up. That's what empathy is. When I want to meet you in person, I'm showing a willingness to engage. That's huge. And I've had people that like run from me and afraid of me. Heck, man, I go seek them down. I hunt them down. I'm not embarrassed. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I'm persistent, but that face-to-face is big. Okay, CS, a bit off topic, but can you be positive when you're a pessimist? It's very hard to see the positives when you're always thinking the worst of everything. Great question, CS. Here's the answer to that one. LCD, lowest common denominator. All right, what does that mean? I once saw something online to who remembers, whatever, about Army Rangers going into Afghanistan, walking to a position. They had packs on them that were massive. I was like, my God, what are they not carrying? The kitchen sink? These packs were massive. Years later, I ran into a person who had been in the military who had actually been an Army Ranger, and I said, I saw this thing in this clip of you guys going to a position. Why the packs are so big? He said to me a very good answer. He said, Bruce, we always expect that we're going to have to fight our way out. We bring everything with us. We hope it's not going to happen. We prepare for the worst. And when you think like that, there's no confusion. So I'm always bringing extra ammo, extra water, extra food, because we expect things to be hot. I always expect the worst. And if something happens and it's the worst, I'm never disappointed. And if something turns out pleasant, I'm happy. So I am a pessimist. I'm more of a realist, I would say. But I've learned to be expecting the worst, but I come in prepared for anything. And if that would have been a situation where it would have gone south on me, I already had 3 different plans to go into effect. So I'm always trying to think ahead. So I don't just give up and throw away, like it's over. Here's my keys, I'm done. I'm always trying to think about how can I make it happen. If this fails, what's the next step? So LCD, Josh, lowest common denominator, that's my Brooklyn coming out, and just go from there. Prepare and don't worry about it. Carne Asadi, okay. I get envious when I see other people hooking up with girls weekly. I don't know why, because I'm not like that, or shall I ever be like them? I have a long-living girlfriend, but I feel like I don't appreciate her as much as I need to. All right, no problem. Here's how you do this again. First of all, you got a girlfriend. So she loves you. So she cares about you. The question you got to think about yourself is, if she loves me, then what qualities does she love? And I want to be with her. And just don't worry about the other girls. You got somebody. I thought you were going to say, like, I don't have anybody. The other guys are getting lucky with girls each week, and I'm not kind of a loser. I can't find anybody. You got someone that cares about you. That's huge. Work on making the relationship, enhancing it. Why don't you say to her, I think you're beautiful. Make sure you're getting her flowers. Make sure you're complimenting her. Even my wife of like 30,000 years, she will say to me things like, do I look pretty, right? And I used to be stupid and say, no, you look okay. Look up. Okay, I don't do that anymore. Now I say, you look great. You look fantastic. You lost weight. Great necklace. Great outfit. Because it's clear that she's not saying it because I don't have those feelings. But I learned to lie. Make her happy. So think about your relationship and go forward from there and let us know how that works out. Okay. Okay, why? When you get back to PTSD, can you talk about the drug use that might come with it? How one might get sober again? Okay, here we go. And Joshua in a little comment, hopefully not in that tone. Okay, I'm going to bring up, it's a great point because there's a huge issue, there's a huge correlation between drugs and alcohol. Why do you think so many videos that we've covered, the musician is around alcohol and drugs, and the demise is either alcohol or drugs? It never fails. Or all they talk about is alcohol or drugs, because that's how they're compensating for their PTSD and for their trauma. So the way, rather than talking to somebody, going to exercise, having a smoothie, going to bed at night, let me stay up for 3 nights straight, smoke a ton of weed that's laced with all kinds of crap, maybe methamphetamine, maybe, other stuff that's really, really dangerous for you. I'm trying to think on top of my head. There was one drug that came to mind. But it's just like you want to get away from that stuff. And that's what you got to think about is, what am I doing self-destructive that's going to exasperate my drug and alcohol abuse, that's going to affect my trauma? When you're in this state, okay, let's put it this way. When you're in this kind of state, you, to me, are in critical condition. Okay, you're on life support. You can't do anything further that's going to make you sink further. You got to lift yourself up. So all of these points now, we're talking about getting moving, is you got to work on how can I combat my trauma, my PTSD, so I don't do anything that's going to be seen as self-destructive, that's only going to hurt me as I try and move on. That's a great question. Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you. Funny, Josh. Thank you again. Here we go. Trauma disrupts your body's natural equilibrium, freezing you in a state of hyperarousal and fear. As well as burning off adrenaline and releasing endorphins, exercise and movement can actually help repair your nervous system. We say this all the time. I heard this from a psychiatrist. The number one thing you can do, there's 3 things you can do to help with it, particularly with depression, which is often linked with trauma. 3 biggies. First one is always going to be exercise. Second is going to be counseling. Third is going to be medication. The older I get, the more I stress exercise, exercise, exercise. Number one thing by far. Anytime you do that, you're burning off adrenaline, so you're not like getting yourself so hyper arousal. Really, really important thing to be doing. So try to exercise for 30 minutes or more on most days. Get out of the house. And people always say, well, what should I do? I can't afford a gym. All right, walk. Walk. Put on a pair of sneakers and go walking around your block 5 times. Do it twice a day. In Vegas, you can't really do it much longer because it's going to be 115 degrees real soon. But I tell people all the time, get out, get out, get out, walk. The cheapest exercise there is, massive benefits. Anything that's rhythmic, playing basketball, walking, running, swimming, even dancing, because you're using all the muscles in your body. But I can't stress enough exercise. Now, here's something that people talk about that they need to understand. It's called mindfulness. What is mindfulness? All right. Instead of focusing on your thoughts, okay, here's what I want you to do. Or distracting yourself while you exercise, really focus on your body and focus on how it moves. So here's the thing. If I'm going to be lifting weights, instead of just like, okay, put your hands on the bar, feel the bar, get your hands ready, get your feet ready, breathing out, and then feel how your chest tightens, your stomach tightens, feel the sweat running down the side of your face if you're doing enough sets, and then go like this. Put the bar back down, and feel your muscles contracting, getting tighter, releasing your stomach, your body, your feet. Feel all of that stuff, okay? If you're rock climbing, as you're putting your hands on the wall and you're moving up and you're sliding, and feel like your left calf is starting to ache and your shoulder's burning a little bit and your fingers are getting a little bit glow. They call it glowing because you're holding on to the rock. Okay, focus on that, all right? Because you want to focus on your body so you avoid injury, but also just focus on the action as it's happening, the mindfulness. Think about that. A couple of questions came in. Drink a lot of water when you feel hungry. Make sure it's not just you being thirsty. People emotionally overeat. Oh, man, dead on. Dead on. Right here, baby. Right here. Yeah. Food becomes a coping mechanism. Why are so many people in this country obese? I mean, think about it. We weren't this way 100 years ago. I know you could blame fast food and processed food and 24/7, but people in 99-cent stores and dollar stores, you can buy literally anything for like $1.50. But the point is that we eat because we're unhappy. When you see people, gorging themselves on, a slice of cake, not a slice, half a cake, it's telling you something. They're not happy. Going back and back and back, to the dessert bar. How many desserts do you need? Something happened to me today is interesting. I really cut down on my cake usage. And I used to be a card-carrying member of Cakes R Us. And someone had brought in some cake, and they're like, some different kinds of cake. And I had 2 slices, and I was full. And I thought, wow, I used to be able to go through 6 or 7 of those and still want more. My body adjusted to that. And I actually felt myself full and actually a little bit bloated. And wow, my body has changed. I've changed with what I'm eating. So food consumption is huge. I'd much rather you go for like a handful of blueberries than go for 15 cookies. Think about that, how you fill up your body. And Josh had a good point. Drink a lot of water. I used to be, Dr. Pepper, card-carrying member. And I used to drink 10 to 12 cans of soda a day by having several big gulps. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, one when I was going home from work. Stop doing that. A lot more water, vitamin water, just getting away from that sugar. So very, very good. Okay. Carney said, any advice on how to speak more confident and less stuttering? Sometimes I talk in a monotonous voice and seem boring. What should I think about when I'm talking to new people? Here you go. Have a plan and let them do the talking. Always go off and say something. Here's what I always say to people, nice to meet you. And I'm like, wow, that's a nice shirt. It's a nice hat. Where'd you get it? Can I take a look at that? Where did you get it? I love your sneakers. Tell me about yourself. What kind of job do you do? You do a great job. Throw in a couple of compliments. Let them start talking about themselves. Boom, you got it. Because you get nervous when you have to kind of come up with conversation. I do this for a living, so I'm very comfortable in being in offsetting situations. My agent / producer, and I used to work from in the past, he used to make fun, like he said, I don't know how you do it. You walk in like cold, like coming off the street without even warming up, wearing your shoes, and I want you to guard the best player on the other team. And you just say, okay, no problem. I'll get some water later at halftime. And I would just, because I'm comfortable doing it, I'm comfortable being on my feet. That takes a lot of practice. For those of you that are just learning how to do that, get the other person to talk about themselves, compliment them. If it's a woman, I like your hair. Don't touch their hair. That's a lawsuit. But just say, I like your hair. Looks pretty. That's a nice necklace. Where did you get it? Don't be creepy about it. But when you start talking to other people, like, oh, I saw you had a Red Sox banner in your office. Oh, I hate the Yankees. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Connection. Like, that's how you do it. And that's how people start to warm up to you. And then you get comfortable. Because what's happening is you're nervous. And once you get off that nervousness, everything begins to flow and you'll feel better. Try it out. Let us know how it goes. Okay, why? Just be yourself. It sounds corny, but don't try to be something you're not, and people will eventually catch on. When I start, it's when I'm thinking too fast. Just slow down. They like you for who you are. Yeah. And that's a good point, too. And also good. And if not, screw them. Granted. But I want you guys to learn how to handle yourself socially. Yes, people will like you for who you are, but I want everybody to get to that point that they're comfortable. They don't walk in like nervous. Walk in relaxed. Meeting a new person should be fun. A new situation should be a learning experience, should be a growth experience. You don't want to have to limit yourself by saying I have deficiencies. You don't need that. Compliment, let the other person talk about themselves, and you're not being false. It's like you're faking it till you make it. That's what I want you to learn. It doesn't mean like you're not real, you're not a real person. Just be comfortable with who you are, and not just stuttering per se, but like I've had this happen to me too. Like, what do I talk about? What do I say? Now I've learned having comments in the back of my head, I'm okay now. So I'm learning to figure the person out. And the more they reveal about themselves without you talking, the more you're going to know about them. Makes the relationship a lot better. Even in counseling, when I first started, there used to thing called a pregnant pause, where you'd have a conversation with somebody, they wouldn't say anything. And you're like, are they going to say something? Like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Like, okay, do I say something? Do I fill in the blanks? That always happens to new therapists. I've learned now, shut up. I talk less and less and less, and I'll say, what do you think about that? Or I just said something. Or what's your opinion? How do you perceive that issue? Let them do the talking, and that's why I learn what the person's all about. That's what I want you to learn. Great Beats, hello. Hey, Great Beats, thank you very much. Yeah. Be yourself. People, you got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. That I want to stress that. Don't be something that you're not. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. That's a kiss of death. But learn how to get information out of other people, compliment, praise, and you'll be surprised how much more relaxed you're going to be. I want to hear from both you guys and how that works, and if you feel more comfortable now in the future doing that kind of stuff. Okay, now, so that idea of mindfulness is like you're focusing on your thoughts and you're focusing on your body. Instead of like, oh my God, the trauma. If you're going to go swimming, like feel how your body is going through the water, how your legs are fluttering, how your bathing suit feels. If you're indoor pool, outdoor pool, focus on your body, and that will take your mind off the trauma. Okay, tip 2, do not isolate. This is a biggie, and I see this a lot. You may want to withdraw from others. Connecting to others face-to-face, guys, not this, okay, will help you heal. So make an attempt to maintain your relationships and avoid spending time alone. If the people are calling you, they want to stop by, how are you doing? Even someone I've learned, as I've gotten older, unfortunately parents pass away, not just my parents, but my friends' parents. I call. I say, how you doing? Is everything okay? How's everything? They say it makes a difference. You call. Of course, I text them also. I'm not much of an email guy, but I do a lot of phone calls. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How's everything? Are you okay? Not afraid to do it. Don't isolate. I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. Now's the time you need to talk to people. Don't isolate, okay? Now, another thing, too, is when you go see a therapist like myself or someone who's licensed in a different profession, that's fine. You don't have to talk about your trauma, okay? that can make things worse. Comfort comes from feeling engaged and accepted by others. Let me explain this. It used to be the theory was, let's say you were assaulted sexually, physically, you were in a terrible trauma incident that you saw a carnage on an ocean, a ship slammed into another ship, or you were in combat, you were in law enforcement, someone got sliced, someone got stabbed, someone was screaming. We used to make people go through it bit by bit. So tell us again what you were wearing when you were in the police car, and what time was it? And were you sweating, or is it like every excruciating detail? What it did was bring everything up, and it wasn't going back down. And people were not getting better from that because they were reliving the trauma all over again. We do not do that. If you ever talk to me, I don't do that either. I'll say, well, I only want to discuss my past. I was molested for 3 years, from 11 to 14, by my uncle. It messed me up. I tried to kill myself. I became a prostitute. I gained 70 pounds. I had 3 kids by 3 different guys. My life sucks. I didn't finish high school. I work a crappy job. Blah, 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 blah. I don't go into the abuse. What I want to just know is, how long did it last? What was done to you? And was there ever kind of consequences for the perpetrator? That's it. Because this way it gives me an idea of where I have to go from. But to make someone relive it, like, tell me what it was like when he took your clothes off, or he put a gun in your mouth, or you saw your best friend killed over a gang retaliation. No. Don't do that anymore. I want to just get the parameters, and then I'll take care of it from there. But any good therapist today will not make you relive your trauma. And if they do, take off. That's not the right person for you, because no one today with any kind of acumen should think along those lines. Okay. Another thing too, okay, anyone want to throw a question down? We're ready. Ask for support, all right? I know people think like this is the last time to ask for questions, and what I'm telling you is, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Now, here's the thing too. You may not get what you want right away. You may not get the right therapist, you may not get the right medication, you may not get the right answers. That's okay, but it's your body, it's your coconut. So reach out for people that can actually help you. Don't worry about it. You're not necessarily going to find the right person right away. That's probably unlikely. It may take 2 or 3 times to find the right doctor. It may take you 3 or 4 times to find the right therapist with the right support system, with the right support group. I don't care, but see what you need, get what you need, and go from there. Okay? Participate in social activities. Get out of the house. So if you were in a car accident, and let's say you like going to stock car races, okay, do something different. Try a different hobby, different activity. Do something you wouldn't have done before, and see if that helps with the memories, okay? That doesn't have to deal with your traumatic experience. Reconnect with old friends. If you lost track of people, all right, make the effort to reconnect. That's one of the few, to me, great things about social media is you can find literally anybody around the world fairly quickly today. So if you had a best friend in high school, best friend in college, best friend in the military, best friends on a high school team, find them. Hey, man, I was thinking about you. Maybe you're not in a relationship. There was a girlfriend you had thoughts about. Look her up. Maybe she's not married. Who knows? But if you had friendships from before, maybe a teacher you really enjoy, you really like the guy, look him up. I've traveled around the United States, lived around the United States now 1, 2, 3, 4 different cities. I know I'm not going to end up in the rest of my life in Vegas. So, you meet people and you kind of move on. Go back to those cities and like people, hey, I moved from Buffalo, New York, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I still have friends in Buffalo. What is the relationships? Don't throw those away. Reconnect. You'd be surprised. Okay? Join a support group. That doesn't mean you're weak if you do that. Go with other people that have been through what you've been through and hear things. As amazing as I am, as incredible as I am, I've learned this. I don't know everything. So how to be a better father, I listen to other people. Oh, I know everything about being a father. I'm a pretty good father. I could always learn more. I always push myself to say, you know what? Let me listen. Let me hear. May only be a sentence or two, but I learned something. And I can, if apply that to myself, all the power to it. Just a quick example. One of my kids once said to me, you taught me to read. If I like a topic, get the book on the person, even if it's for a baby, like a 3rd grader, or from a guy who got a Pulitzer Prize. He goes, you'd be surprised. He says, I learned something even from a child's book about this character that I didn't even know, that I thought I knew everything about him. So reach out. You think you know everything, but you don't. Even when I read something, it might be a blurb about the topic I'm interested in, and I think I know everything about the topic, I learned something. So join a support group, because you'd be surprised what you're going to find out. Okay. Volunteer. Volunteer. I heard some people so many times, when you give back to other people, it makes your self-esteem go up, and it helps you cope with the trauma, and you see things from a different perspective. What do I do in terms of volunteering? I donate my plasma. I do it like once a month, sometimes twice a month, because I have a rare blood type. So I'm sorry, platelets, and I donate because I feel I'm doing something for other people that can help them. There's no money involved. They give you some gifts every once in a while, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't get gifts anyway. I do it because I feel I'm doing something for my community. People I'll never meet in my life use my platelets for blood transfusions, car accidents. Volunteer. Places always need other people. Well, if you think there's no volunteer needs, you're wrong. Just, I want to, and it doesn't matter what you're volunteering at. Who cares? A to Z. Volunteer. It changes your perspective. And guess what? You meet new people, get out of the house, you have to shower, brush your teeth, put on clean clothes, and interact. And you meet and have new experiences. So go do it. I got another question from Great Beats. How do I confront a loved one who has been through trauma when they bring it up and talk about it? Here's the thing. Just say, how you doing? How's everything? You okay? If you want to talk, I'm here to listen. That's it. We sometimes get so nervous, like what we say we're going to say the wrong thing. Just say the right thing. How you doing? Are you okay? How's everything? You look a little bit upset lately. And you'd be shocked at what happens. I stopped worrying about, like, the great comment with a great quote. Who cares? Be human. Reach out. You okay? You look upset. Is everything all right? I'm here to listen. Call me if you want to talk to somebody. If you want to get together, we can go to like Starbucks or something, take a walk before it's 120 degrees outside here. I'm here to listen. You'd be surprised. Try that out. Let us know how it works. Okay, White, thank you again, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now, here's the thing also. You can regulate your nervous system. We're understanding more and more about the body and how it works. And I want to clarify that you can do what's called self-regulation about your body more than we realize. And we're learning more and more about this. Here's what you do. Again, mindful breathing, okay? Take breaths. They'll say 60 breaths, which if you got the time for it, do it. 60 breaths, it takes like a minute of breath. I should say that, 15 seconds of breath. So 15 minutes. You can make 30 breaths, whatever. Try it. You'll be surprised how your body's going to feel. You're slowing everything down. We used to think like, yeah, let's go. We're going to kill him. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. And the first quarter, you play like out of control because your body's not in control. But you go out like possessed, like, okay, Bruce, what are 3 things you got to work on? I got to block for the running back. I got to protect the quarterback. On third downs, I got to make those 3 yards, coach. I got it. Okay, start breathing. Protect the quarterback. Block for the running back. I'm the man in short yardage. Mindfulness, okay? Mindful breathing. Practice that. Let us know how it goes. Everyone that's watching, okay? Sensory input, all right? I do this with autistic patients, all right? Here's something I want to show people, Okay. And the thing here, they said there's a specific sight, smell, or taste quickly make you feel calm, or maybe petting an animal or listening to music work for you. Okay. Everyone has their own sensory input. What I taught people to do is this. If you notice, okay, let me hold this up. I got a keychain. All right. I use it for me to hold my zip drives. I have 2 of them. All right. But I've taught people to do this. If you're autistic, sometimes you get a problem with like this. You touch things, you move your hands. It gives you a problem with social anxiety, and people start looking at you. I tell them to do this. Get something like this where it's tactile. Okay, you can feel the material. You put it in your pocket, and when you get nervous, you rub against it as a calming device. It could have fur on it. It could have like a scratchy material. But anything that you can do, I'm relaxed now. I'm relaxed. People now are using like scents, like lavender, cinnamon, like before they go into something anxiety-ridden, like spray some lavender. Let me rub some mint on my arm. Like we're realizing that the body tactily feels better when you do something like that. I've said this before. I read this in an interview years ago about the NBA. Teams where the players came off the court and did this. Hey, man, high five. Great shot. Hey, you're doing great. You know, that kind of, one on average, 5 to 7 more games than teams that didn't do that. So tactile sensation is huge. So if a smell, an aroma gets you relaxed, put it in your office, put it in your car, put it in your pocket. Time you go into something stressful, it helps, okay? Staying grounded, all right? Do this. Feel in the present and be more grounded. Sit on a chair. Feel your feet on the ground and your back is against the chair, okay? Look around you and pick up 6 things that either have red or blue in them. And notice how you get calmer. This actually works, okay? Sit in your chair. Your back is in the chair. Look around and see. There's nothing in this room I can do that to, but have something in your room. Could be any color that you can just pick up. All right, now with your feet, pick up 6 things that are around you. You could put the things out beforehand. Your body will relax. Again, you're learning how to control your tension. Okay? Finally, allow yourself to feel how you feel when you feel it. Acknowledge your feelings about the trauma and accept them and acknowledge them, okay? Don't ignore them. I'm a loser. I should have stood up to him. I shouldn't have been beaten. I'm less of a man. You know, I'm humiliated. You know what? If that's how you feel, okay, acknowledge your feelings. You're human. You know, it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. It was scary. It was terrifying. It was anxious-ridden. It made you, get all queasy. You know, you could feel everything going numb. You were like frozen in sand as the person was taunting you. I'm going to beat you up. Give me your money. You know, the car accident made you feel like, you'll never get back into a car again. People used to be like, don't think that way, blah, blah, blah. You got it? When you feel this way, as your feelings happen, I feel nervous, I feel upset, acknowledge them. You're human. It's okay to feel that way. All right? So I want to let that point out again. We got questions. We got a few more minutes, guys. You got any questions? Throw them in. We're ready to listen. Okay. Here's the thing, too. I'm learning this as I've gotten older. I wish I knew this when I was a lot younger. Take care of your health. People that are often with trauma, as this caller had said before previously, what do I do about drug usage? That's what I don't want you to do. Take care of your health. It's so easy to say, I'm going to drink myself into oblivion. One beer after the other, one vodka after the other, one bottle of vodka, one cake after the other, one cookie. I'm just going to lay in my bed, lay on the couch, go nowhere. Drink, eat, overdose on drugs. Oh, man, I need weed every day. Let me put some methamphetamine into it. You don't want to think like that. You don't want to do that. Go to sleep. That's another biggie. I can't stress that enough as well. Don't do this. I'm up all night, and I'm sleeping all day. That's a killer. Your circadian rhythm is going to be disturbed. You want to get your regular time of going to bed, 7 to 9 hours every night. Whenever if someone tells you they're doing 3 to 4 hours, don't take them seriously, because they're going to crash and burn. The only time I've learned about people doing the sleep deprivation stuff is guys that are becoming Army Rangers and Green Berets. They're trying to teach you what sleep deprivation is, because you may have to be up for 2 nights straight when people are hunting to kill you, when you're on a mission. I get that part. But they tend to be young guys, 19, 20, 21, that they can handle that. So they get like an hour or two a night for several months, blah, blah, blah. But it's to train the body to train the mind to overthink the body. When I'm screaming for sleep, you can still go another 2 clicks, or carry a wounded guy who's bleeding on you, or prepare an ambush to get back to the helicopter. Like, that's literally life or death. I get that. I'm talking about the average person. You need your sleep. And anytime someone tells me they get by in 4 hours a day, liar, I don't believe them. I can't do it anymore. I'm getting older, and I need my sleep anyway. But you're younger, you can handle things better. Okay, you can do an all-nighter, occasionally cheat a little bit. In real life, my age, I need my sleep. If I go to bed like at 12:30, get up at 7, I'm going to feel it the next day. I'm going to be tired. I need my sleep. Get your sleep. It's so vital, and it replenishes so much about you. Okay. Avoid alcohol and drugs. So here's why. Another thing, too, I want to clarify. It can increase your feelings of depression, anxiety, and isolation. Because guess what? When you're drinking by yourself, when you're drugging by yourself, that's going to increase your feelings of anxiety, depression, and isolation. Eat a well-balanced diet. Okay, I've learned this also. I used to be able to, gorge myself on tons of sugary stuff and high in salt and processed, all right? Don't do that. What they're saying now is eat small, well-balanced meals, avoid sugary and fried foods, and salmon, walnuts, soybeans, and flax seeds, different kinds of things to give your mood a boost. My producer/agent has a very strict diet, and he states it's really helped him out greatly. He and his girlfriend practice this, and I'm slowly learning, coming around to that kind of thinking. I used to be like, I'll give you a quick example. I used to have a thing, I love pie, cakes. I'm the man right here. 7-Eleven has like a series of 6 of them for $1 a piece. Strawberry cheesecake, chocolate, apple, cherry. I salivate when I walk into one of those stores, because I only want to buy all 6 of them and just have them one after the other with a massive Diet Coke, a nice 32-ouncer. That's what I would have done in the past. Now I realize I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm giving myself like a massive mini stroke by having that much sugar, that much salt, that much processed chemicals in my system. It's going to affect my bloat. It's going to bloat me. It's going to affect what I do for the next 24 hours. I have a problem with sweating, being, like not myself. I went into a 7-Eleven and I was looking for one called strawberry cheesecake, and I nailed it. But I bought one. I didn't buy the other 5. That's the difference. I didn't buy a big gulp. I got a vitamin water. I ate it. That was it. I really enjoyed it. It was delicious. But I'm not doing that to myself anymore. So watch what you eat, okay? And that's really, really important. Finally, try and reduce your stress. Everyone's going to say this to you. Everyone's going to tell you this, like reduce your stress, reduce your stress. I say this like an idiot all the time too. And guess what? I'm the last person that does it. I know I'm stressed out of my mind. I got so much going on that I don't think about my stress level enough till it's too late. Okay, do something about your stress. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing, and have hobbies. I tell this to my kids also. Don't just get stuck in doing the same stupid thing all over again. If you like to collect something, collect it. If you want to be with a group of people that does something, be with the group. Be involved. Have a hobby. People that have hobbies are interesting people. If I don't have a person that has a hobby, I get nervous. People with hobbies tend to be more well-rounded, more relaxed. They have an outlet for their time. They look to do things. Do that for yourself. Whatever the hobby might be, hiking, collecting, viewing, seeing, who cares? Have a hobby. Go ahead and do it. Okay. We're getting to the point where we're going to getting close to done. So I got some questions here. Mediterranean diet, CS, thank you. Lots of fish and salad. Absolutely. Again, I'm not going to say I don't like to eat meat. I'm lying. But just like I said, moderation, but the diet now, we're learning so much how the diet affects the body and affects your coconut. So the right diet will really, really help you focus and stay calm and really make a huge difference on you. So you want to get away from the stuff that's going to just not help you. Again, you're in trauma, dealing with so much stuff. You don't want to get into that stuff. It's going to hurt you. You want to get back into the saddle and go forward. Okay. It's crazy. See, that's another question out there. It's crazy how much food affects your mood. I feel so healthy. And yeah, after eating a well-balanced meal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I used to go through like, God, I didn't eat McDonald's growing up, but hamburgers, kosher McDonald's. I had like 5 to 6 hamburgers, one after the other with fries. It's just like donuts. I mean, you name it. It's amazing. I'm not dead of diabetes by now. My head hasn't exploded off the top of my chest. But the point is, like, you learn those things are not good for you. And now when I eat like a lot of that stuff, my body actually starts to resist and tells me, hey, don't do that. So how you eat is really, really critical. Okay. Now, I want to clarify just a couple last things. When to seek professional therapy for trauma. Okay. And then we're going to close with this. And we'll probably do part 3. Recovering from trauma takes time. Everyone heals at their own pace. But if things are not working out, you need professional help. Here's what you got to think about. If you're having trouble functioning at home or at work, okay, you're snapping at your wife, you're kicking the dog, your boss is on you, you're coming in late. If you're having severe fear, anxiety, depression, if you can't form anything that's a close, satisfying relationship, you got the memories, you got the nightmares, you got the flashbacks. Not good, okay? Avoiding more and more anything that reminds you of the trauma. I won't ever get back into a car. I'll never be a truck driver again. I'll never go back into that. I won't ever be a coal mine. I won't go into that hole in the ground. I'm gonna leave the military. I'm not gonna be a cop anymore. I'm never gonna go play basketball again. Not good. You're numb. Hey, I love you. You haven't called me in a month, son. I'm your mother. Yeah, I'm just so tired, Mom. Using alcohol or drugs to feel better. Okay? All bad. All right? And I've had all these, every one of these things I can relate in my own mind to clients or patients telling me that this was happening to them. How come you're not working? I stopped taking the calls from work. I used to be an attorney, and then I can't do it anymore. I know I got to go back to work, and my boss is telling me I'm going to be fired. I think I am fired, but yeah, I can't do it anymore. We had a lot of times with truck drivers who would leave their rig on the strip before they would start charging for parking. They would leave their rig in the garage. They not like the cab. They would take the cab and dump it in a quiet area and just walk away from the truck and the load. We were like, I think in my head, like, what? And the guy would always say, I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't handle another mile of driving an 18-wheeler. And we'd have to call, we'll let them know, we'll say, hey, you got to call family, let them know where that truck is. You're carrying a load. Particularly if there's anything in there that needs to be like perishable or, has to be offloaded where it's valuable. But I must have at least at that time, like 6 to 10 guys tell me, I left the load and I walked 2 miles and I got help. I called 911 and I called the company and of course they fired me. Wow, that is disconnect. I couldn't imagine that. I've had people that told me they walked out of work. I'm like, how are you going to feed your family? I know, it's the dumbest thing I ever could have done. I'm so humiliated. I'm so embarrassed. My wife's yelling at me. I need the money. My kids are screaming. I need things for them. I just felt disconnected. I felt numb. Whoa, I got people that have lost 40 pounds on me. I can't sleep at night. Or I got addicted to sleeping pills where, because I couldn't sleep. So I took 1, then 2, then 4, then 6, then 10. And now I'm addicted to those things. Now I'm having horrible mood swings and I'm having problems with going to the bathroom, all kinds of stuff, emotionally numb, suffering from the fear, the anxiety, or the depression. I never drank before. Now I used to have a glass of wine when I got home. Then it became a quarter of the bottle. Then it became half the bottle, became a full bottle. Now it was a bottle and a half. When I went to take out the empties, I'm like, in my horror, I got like 30 bottles of wine over like a month and a half that I'm putting in the recycling bin. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? I'm self-medicating with alcohol. That's bad. Where Bruce, I used to smoke weed Friday nights after I had a long week at work. I hate my boss. I hate my job. Now I started doing it Saturday night because I was going to go back to work. Sunday night when I had to go back to work. Monday. Now I'm smoking on my lunch break. I'm using breath spray. It's problems, man. You don't want to do that stuff to yourself. This is when you got to say, I'm hitting rock bottom, where I'm only talking about drugs and alcohol with people. I don't talk about anything other than drugs and alcohol. In the videos, drugs and alcohol and drugs, getting high, staying high, the fun of being high. Oh, it's crazy being high, but hey, why not? You know, it's bad. See us through a comment down here. It's crazy how much food affects your mood. Okay, they threw that one in before. So I want to share that, Josh, but I got to go. Have a good stream. Thank you, Josh. Thank you again for your contribution. Much, much, much appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot do without you. Much, much, much appreciation. So I'm going to close here. I'm going to give anyone else, anyone got any last second questions they want to throw down? Now's the time. I'm going to go off in a little bit. CS, thank you for another great video. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, doing fine, doing okay. Enjoying what we're doing. Like I said, give us another few seconds. Anyone has a question I want to throw out there, go do it. What I'm probably going to do is do another part 3 because I got so much more material, but we're going to go from there. So again, anyone have any last second questions, throw them out. If not, I'm going to sign off. Everybody, once again, for joining, for participating, much appreciation. We're out of here. Thank you again.